Good evening. You're watching Outside the Box, the show that gives you the opportunity to interact with political party candidates. To our daily poll now, yesterday's question was, should changes be made to the land bank? 66.67% voted yes, while just over 16% voted no. Today's question is, do we need a national health insurance scheme? Text your answer, a simple yes or no, to 3592. The poll is opened to Vodafone, Digicel and Ink users. Charges apply. Joining us first on the show tonight is Roko Taliai Rasolo from One Fiji Party. He joins us in the studio. Good evening, Mr. Rasolo. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Mr. Mika.
Mr. Rasolo, you were an assistant Roko. First question to you. The country was promised One Fiji's manifesto yesterday, and we're still waiting. In fact, this is the second week going from the first promise.
Okay, I think like Fiji First, it has still in the making. I think there has to be a lot of minds into it so that we can get the idea across in a way that it relates properly. As much as we would like to do it quickly, but there's some issues that we still need to tie up first.
Okay. Well, we have about 25 days, and tomorrow will be 24 to the elections. When do you think the party manifesto will come out?
I think probably early next week.
Because that will definitely support, what you're saying verbally. It'll be in written also.
Yes.
And people would want to see that.
Yes. I myself hope that with all the hype that is going on and the concerns that we have, and definitely people are really working on it.
Okay. Now, as an assistant Roko, I mean, you told me earlier there's been some broken structures in the way the administration of indigenous issues, both land and marine, in your experience.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, Mick, I would like to actually use this time to say bullet to people that I would like to address this issue with. Right. That is definitely those from my province, Lau, and not forgetting those from Lomai VT and Sao Group, all the island in the maritime. Yeah. And
you appreciate it's one constituency now. Eh?
Yes, though we have this one constituency issue with us, but it does not leave out the fact that we can relate properly as candidates to where we are more comfortable with in regard to issues that we would like to address. Okay. I think that is very important.
So your focus now, focus on this is on which particular area of the country?
Well, that which I think I'm comfortable with is the maritime. I grew up from I worked in the maritime, then I came over to Suva, then worked in the private sector. I think I have a range in which I could really see where the structures that we are in now is broken to the extent where it does not work.
Okay. What do you mean?
Well, say for example, the structures that are in place right at the moment is only concerned with harvesting to the extent where it is over-harvesting. And when you look at that, I would like to look at it from, was there anywhere that we could have allowed the bank, allowed the bank mentality, where we could have harvested an extent so that we are also concerned how much we can put aside as security. Then instead of harvesting, we could broker with the bank and say, you give us this much, and then we go into other development as security.
Is it reflective of your own personal opinion or your manifesto that is yet to be seen?
Like I've said, we haven't finalized our manifesto. All this needs to be plugged into the manifesto first, before we can, but like I said, we're still working on the manifesto. Right. Cut it right, and then we go right to the. So
basically, this is you're just sharing your personal opinion on the issue for the moment.
For the moment, because I have to persuade my group of candidates that we should also consider this. But also, I think the party leader has also mentioned that these issues and the structures that are in place still need to be reviewed, so that we can not only appropriately, but also get the extent of the maximum that we can get out of our finite resource it's limited. But we are not getting that money, that return that we should get out of it.
Okay. Now, who's taking the chunk of that money, do you think?
Well, I would like to say the privateers. The privateers, it's either from, I would like to say abroad, it's been siphoned out. It's been siphoned out. The people who are in the rural remain as they were right in the 1800s.
So would it be right to say that you don't totally agree with the inflow of investors into the country? It should be maintained at a level, do you think?
The inflow of investors is good, but we should be at a place where we manage our resource and we get the proper return out of what the investors are.
Are we beyond that, do you think, at the moment? Managing
yes.
the inflow?
If you get the statistics from the fisheries and from the forestry, we've over-harvested our marine. We're getting also to the point we've over-harvested our pine. But we have pine in the village right at this point in time.
Yeah, but marine is over-harvested, you think?
Marine is over-harvested. I have also had knowledge that we have been buying timber from overseas in order to cover the quota that we have not been able to cover. Yeah, then that's poor. I mean, we have forest, but they said our pine has been harvested to the point where we need to get pine logs from overseas.
Yeah, like the saying goes, it takes two to tango.
Right.
In anything, do you think in the issue of marine resources, over harvesting, there would be investors coming in, but you would also have people back at the village who would be, not thinking about the resources, but giving it away.
Yes, that's really where we would like to address.
Okay.
The management structures in the rural is not that good to such an extent where it has only been harvesting.
Okay. Just very short, your answer. Decentralization of powers of extension officers out there.
That's the very thing that we've been working on. Decentralization to the point where all the extension officers are grouped, not in the urban, but in the very spot where the harvesting is going on, so that they can manage, and at the same time, where people who are at this the capture at the where the resources have been harvested could be accessible to the mines, to the people that would be able to contribute in the way that management of the resource.
Okay. Just a final question to you. Do you think you'll win this election?
Definitely. Anybody who has sacrificed. I even to the point where I was terminated from my work. I was working as a consultant with our own company, and then they had to.
So you took all the sacrifices just for politics?
I had a conviction. The conviction that had driven me out into
Thank
politics.
you, Mr. Rasolo. Time has caught us. Stay with us. Joining us next is Laisani Qalilawa from SODELPA. Welcome back. Join our discussion live tonight by texting in your questions to 3599 or call our studio line 3302-100. And remember, you can have your say in our daily poll. The question is still, do we need a national health insurance scheme? Simply text yes or no to 3592 to all Vodafone, Digicel, and Ink users. Now, Laisani Qalilawa from SODELPA joins us. Bula Madam, welcome to the show.
Bula Mika.
Okay, why politics?
Politics has always been an area of interest for me. You know, I was brought up in informal settlement. I am very familiar with the issues that people there face with regards to the struggle to put food on the table. And so for me, politics is about ensuring that I make a change and bring that up to a national level, that I will be able to challenge and make a change that is positive for our people.
If there's a solution or a way to resolve the struggles that ordinary people who live in informal sectors, like you said, what would that be? Do you think?
Well,
the very one thing
that I would say is to support people that are living in informal settlements with regards to the provision of employment.
Okay. Now, in terms of employment, your manifesto, your party's manifesto, is promising a 200% tax rebate to employees rather, taking on first-time job seekers. Tell us more about that.
Well, actually, that came about from one of the surveys that our SODELPA Youth Wing conducted, you know, and we had some really, really good feedback from young people out there. And I believe that SODELPA is the only party, the only political party that did it a different way this time, in as far as consultation with young people was concerned on this youth manifesto. So what we did was we gathered what the young people thought was important to them, and employment was one of them.
Okay. Now you appreciate that other political parties also have their own youth wings, and they have youth too that are standing as candidates in these elections, and the manifesto is also talking about things that would improve the lives of youths out there. What makes it that your SODELPA manifesto on youth is better than theirs?
I believe that the other political parties out there is a lot of stuff that they've put in there in as far as youth empowerment is concerned. But for us in SODELPA, how we've done it differently is, and we recognize that there is a real issue out there in as far as unemployment is concerned with young people, and that's something that we have really, really put our energy and focus into. And you can see from what is there in our youth manifesto that we're trying to get the other stakeholders in the economy to try and actually support, provide that real support to young people in terms of employment.
Another promise of your manifesto, you will increase support for youth participation in agriculture. Now, we understand, you know, why youths are not planting. It's over-drinking of cover. How would you resolve that? How would you discourage them?
I disagree. You know, in a social setting, that is something that is available to them. But I believe that in rural setting, that there is a lot of young people out there. They are unemployed, and this is a better avenue for them. This is a good way for them to move forward into that area, and that's why SODELPA has provided that avenue for them.
Thank you, Ms. Qalilawa. There's Hussein from 90 is on the line. And Hussein, go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, and just a little question to the SODELPA candidate there. I'm just wondering, none of the previous governments have ever put anything in place such as the current government, Bani Marama government has done. This is a system that has been in implementation in overseas countries, New Zealand, Australia, and all these things. It was quite a simple task to do. My question is, why can't such simple intellect have been in place prior to the Bani Marama government? Why is it coming into place now?
Okay, thank you. That's Hussein from Nandi. He's asking, you know, none of the previous governments have done what the current government has done. Do you agree with that?
In as far as what may I ask?
Well, he's talking in terms of the achievements, you know, and you know, in terms of development, and various other issues.
Yes. Well, you know, that is the general feedback out there, that if Mr. Hussein thinks that way, that is fine. That is his general thinking. But, you know, what has this government done to young people in Fiji? This regime has failed the young people in Fiji. For over 8 years, the voices of the young people have been suppressed. There has been violence inflicted on them, and I say that because I have met some of the people who have, some of the young people who have met brutality at the hands of this regime.
Do you think youths will vote you into parliament?
I definitely think they will, Mika.
Why?
If one looks at me, I believe there is a genuineness that I portray. In as far as my qualifications are concerned, I am suitably qualified, I am ably qualified. I have contributed a lot towards getting young people mobilized to give that interest to voting in these elections. And one of the differences, Mika, that the other youth candidates, one of my unique difference is that I worked at Parliament prior to 2006.
Oh, you did?
So I do know what it is like. I have experience in parliamentary lawmaking and serving constituents at that level.
Okay. So do you think the rules then will still apply in the next Parliament, do you think?
Well, you know, there has been a lot of changes with regards to the Parliament setting now. There is no more upper house. There is only one house. So there's a lot of changes. But I believe that the idea, the goal is to get into Parliament, and I believe SODELPA will do that very well this election.
Just on that issue, your manifesto is also saying aim for 25% of youth in parliaments, in boards, local government councils, and in government-owned companies over 10 years. It's quite a long call. Huh?
Yes, that's a very visionary commitment that SODELPA has made to the young people of Fiji, and that's why I say that our manifesto is by far the best manifesto that's been offered by the political parties in these elections for young people. It is visionary, and it is substantial, and it is a tangible way of getting young people actively involved in government process and policy.
And being a member of SODELPA, do you think it gives you that that yard to in your belief that you will win these elections?
I have every faith that there will be success, not only for me, but also for my other colleagues in SODELPA. And I do believe that come September 17th, we will give Frank Bainimarama and Fiji First a resounding defeat.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Qalilawa. In the final segment, we will hear from the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Chen himself. Early this evening, the Commission made a decision on objections filed by various political parties. Welcome back. We will hear now from the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Chen himself, who spoke earlier this evening at a press conference about the process that they have been going through the verification of nominations, objections and reviews the last 3 days.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming this evening. And again, I just want to just say we really apologize for the lateness of this evening in delivering the decisions. But I felt that we just had to take as much time as possible to make that particular decisions. Maybe if I could just very quickly summarize what we received. We received 11 objections and 10 reviews. And out of the 11 objections, we allowed one of the objections. And out of the 10 reviews, we also allowed one of the reviews as well. I can't give you details of them because we have yet to be able to serve some of, I think 4 or 5 of the applications which came before us. So in that regard, I think I shouldn't be giving you details. Maybe I owe it to you to explain the position of the Electoral Commission. What we did was that obviously the objections and the reviews came to us on the 19th of August, and we had to work within a very, very tight framework. After the receipt of it, we also had to send a note out to the different individuals and have them be given the right of response to, say, for example, the objections. And we also obviously had to send the application to review to the supervisor of the election as required by us. So that took the better part of a day when it came back to us, which was, I know we had to cut it quite short because we were mindful of the fact that we couldn't deliberate until we had received or had an opportunity to read the responses from the different persons we were seeking a response from. And so really at the end of the day, we were to work it out. We really had not much more than 2 days. And over the last couple of nights, and if your people were observant enough, you would have seen that the Electoral Commission office was burning light very late into the night because we were looking at it. The decisions, obviously, of the Electoral Commission did not come unanimously amongst ourselves, because I believe that that everybody should have been given an opportunity to exchange and express their views. There were various views which were expressed. Obviously, there were, amongst us as electoral commissioners, there were some dissenting views. Okay? And by and large, however, the decision came and after much discussion to and fro between ourselves as electoral commissioners. Now, as an added precaution, what we did was, while discussing the different objections and reviews, we also took opinion from overseas counsel. All right. And just to put us in a comfort place where we say, well, at least if we were to proceed, at least we have some basis, and it's we need something to reassure us that we were making the right decision. So we did that as a matter of course. Now, I know that a lot of political parties and candidates have expressed disfavor with some provisions of the electoral decree. And as a commission, we obviously empathize with some of the concerns that you had. And I think I might have said it before, in several matters which we saw, which we felt that should be addressed, we made very, very strong submissions, written submissions, to the Minister of Election for him to consider certain aspects of the electoral decree. Maybe if I could just give you an example. One of the matters in the very, very early piece of the review was this 3-day thing, because we just felt the 3-day was quite insufficient. But when it came back basically unchanged, we appreciated that they wanted a decision, so we just prepared ourselves for that 3-day contingency. But if we had it our way completely, we would have preferred a longer time. And there were other aspects, obviously, of the electoral decree which we had some concerns over, and we made our representations known to the government. Now the next step is this: that you'll have tomorrow the drawing of the numbers for the candidates, and in anticipation of the question that will be put to me about the press release by the Supervisor of Election, I can only quote one of the journalists who told me that it was made sometime this afternoon, 6:30. Thank you. That he was going to ignore the decision of the Electoral Commission because he felt that we were out of time. Well, what we did was we had made the decision basically at about 2 o'clock. But then we had to write the reasons down, and that took us time, obviously. And you have myself and 6 others, and we wanted to make sure that we expressed it as best as we could. And so obviously that took us a bit over past to this particular time. Now, I understand that the Supervisor of Election has taken a different view from us. We took legal opinion on what it meant for the 3 days and when it started and when it came to an end. And obviously he took the view that it would be 4 p.m. I beg to disagree with him. And we, as a precaution, we took legal advice on this offshore. Yes. And we have legal advice which makes us quite comfortable in the fact that the time frame of our delivery of the decision doesn't end at 4 p.m. as he thought. Now, where to next? Well, all I can say to you is this, that tomorrow, and it's a bit late now for me to do anything, I will have a discussion with him and to clarify his particular press statement to you, and see if we can resolve it in-house. And then, depending on what the outcome would be or the result will be, I will then go back to my commissioners and we will have a meeting and we will decide what is the next course to take.
All that has happened today, will that affect the time when the national candidates list will be drawn, on the numbers?
Well, the timing is, I think it was planned for 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes.
It was originally planned for Sunday. And then it got obviously brought forward to 10 o'clock. And I will make it a point to try and meet him before before 9.
And that's all for tonight. I leave you with our quote of the week from Winston Churchill himself. A politician needs the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year, and to have the ability afterwards to explain why it didn't happen. Join me again next week as we continue extensive coverage heading into the elections. Good evening.